Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to write a fast formula for the payroll calculation. Let's move ahead and see our requirements. Our requirement is to calculate the HRA, which is house rent allowance, which is equal to 5% of the basic salary. And below here, you can see the formula written, which HRA is equal to amount multiplied by 5 divided by 100. This amount will be the input value for the basic salary element which we are going to create now. So in this, we actually need two elements. One will be for the HRA and the another one will be for the basic salary. So let's move to our instance and see how we can do that. So I'll move to my instance. So you need to click on this My Client group, and in that you have to click on compensation. Okay. So if we scroll down to the bottom, you can see the elements you have the option. So you have to click on this element option, and from here you will see the create icon. So I'm going to click on that, and after that I'm going to choose the US legislative as our data group, and primary classification will be standard earning for the basic salary element, and category will be standard. I'll click on continue. Okay, so here we need to provide the salary. Okay, and the reporting name we need to provide, and here you need to provide the effective date, that will be 1101, and earliest entry date will be first standard earning date. Latest entry date will be last standard earning date, and nothing needs to be changed over here. So I'll click on next. Okay, this code has, so what, change the name, and I'll click on next again. Default periodicity for this element will be calendar month. Periodicity conversion rule will be standard rate annualized. I'll click on next, and I'll click on submit. So here the system will create your element. It will take little time, so you have to be little patience for that. Okay, let me click on OK and we'll try to create our next element. Mm, okay, so I'll again click on this create and we'll keep the legislative data group as US only. And uh, primary classification is going to be voluntary deductions. I'll click on continue and let me give the name as PSHRA and this will be HRA and the effective date will be 1101. Uh, earliest entry date will be uh, first standard earning date and latest entry date will be last standard process date. Okay, sorry. So I'll click on next and we don't need any changes over here. So I'll click on next and I'll click on submit. Okay, so I'll click on OK. And then now we need to create, let's check for the element of basic salary. Click on search. Okay, so the basic salary element has been created. So what I'm going to do, I'll create a element eligibility for this. Okay, so if you see, look at the left side, which says element overview. So here you can see a folder like structure. If you scroll little bit down, you can see this element eligibility. So I'll click on that and in this action drop down, I'll see the create element eligibility option. So I'll click on this and I'll provide a name. Let's keep PS. I'll click on save and I'll submit. So here you can see our element eligibility has been created. Now we don't need any changes in the basic salary. Let's do the same for this PS HRA. I'll open this HRA. So let me change the effective date 1101 and I'll click on this element eligibility and action and I'll create element eligibility. Uh, now let me give the name PSHRA. I'll click on save and submit. So our element eligibility for HRA element has also been created. Now we need to apply a fast formula in this element, which is HRA. So let's move to home page and here my client group compensation and again if you scroll down you can see the fast formula. So I'll click on fast formula and let me create one. So I'll click on create and I'll give the name as PSHRA calculation and the type will be element input validation. Let me change the legislative data, sorry, effective start date. And since we are using element database item, we need access for that. So I'm going to choose the legislative data group, same as the element, which is US legislative data group. Let me search for this. This is a US legislative data group. Okay. Uh, so I'll provide basic detail about this formula. So I'll provide the name, which is PSHRA calculation, and the type for this formula is type is element input validation, and I'll provide the description, which is the formula calculate the calculate 5% uh, sorry, the HRA of 5% of the basic salary. Okay, so now we will start writing the formula. Let me come over here and okay. So we need amount from the basic salary element. How we can do that? We are going to search for the element name PS basic salary. I'll search for that. Click on search. So this will provide me all the DBIs, which is database item for this element, which are available. So I'll detach this. So we want uh, pay value. So let me search with pay value. Pay value. Okay. So here is our database item, which says PS basic pay value as ASG entry value. And the data type for this is number. I'll copy this. I'll copy this and I'll use this DBI. First, we need to default the value for the DBI. So default for pay value is 0. Now we need a input for the HRA element. So inputs are, I'm going to take the amount. So we will return the value into amount input. So I'm taking amount. Now we need to write the calculation, which will be amount is equal to, I'll paste the DBI name, multiply by 5%, 5 divided by 100. Now I'll return the amount. Okay. So this formula, if we try to attach into our element, in the person management element entries, it will throw an error. I'll show you what error is going it is going to throw. So I'll click on save. Let's compile first, and I'll click on submit, and then we'll compile the formula. I'll refresh it and wait for the formula to come to get compiled. Okay, so our formula has been compiled. Now we need to attach this formula to our element. Let's go back and come to elements. Let's search for our element PS with the legislative data group as. Okay, first let me change the effective start date and the legislative data group will be US legislative data group, and let me click on search. We'll open this PS HRA, and since we are doing some calculation, we have to apply the formula, attach the formula onto element level. So I'll click on this PSHRA and I'll click on edit and I will click on update. So here in the default entry values and validation, you just have to uh, maximize it. And here you can see the calculation formula, and below that you can see PSHRA calc, which is our formula. So I'll apply the formula and I'll click on save and I'll click on submit. Now we need to apply this, add this element to a person. So I'll come back to home page, again my client group, and here you can see person management. So I click on person management. In the person number, I'll search for 1030. Click on search again, and I'll select this person. I'll click on action, payroll, and element entries. Okay, so let me remove these element which I have previously made. Okay, now we'll add our uh, elements. So first we are going to add a basic salary element. Uh, okay, and pay value I'm going to give as 2000. I'll click on save and I'll click on done. Now we'll add the HRA element. So which is PS HRA. Okay, continue. And here, since it's the value will be automatically calculated and will be displayed in amount. So we simply have to click on save. Since it will throw an error, I want to show you the error. So let me click on save. Okay, so it is giving us an error which says context date earned wasn't set. So let's set a context to our formula. Okay, yes. Uh, let's put our formula again. Compensation. Let's scroll down. Fast formula. Let's search for our fast formula. PS, which is US Legislative Data Group. I click on search, and here is our formula PSHRA. Okay, let me change the effective date as. Okay, so let me update the formula. Okay, so we have to uh, we have to provide the context which is date earned. So let, let's first get the date date earned value. So date earned, I'll create a variable, and then I'm going to use the function which is get context. Inside that, I'll write date, the score, and after that we need to provide some default values. So I'll choose one 1900 01 slash 01. And since it is a date, we have to tell the system that it is a date. Now we have to change the text. I'm going to keep this as the effective start date. So let me take another variable and uh, save the effective start date context, which will be effective date. And then we need to do the same. So I'll paste it and close it with a parenthesis. So what we are going to do, we'll take the date word and we'll paste the effective value date. So the effective date will be our date earned. I'll click on save. I'll submit the formula and I'll compile this. Let me refresh it. Just throwing some error. Okay, so it should be change contexts. Yes, will be there. Click on save, submit. Again, compile the formula. Let's refresh it. Okay, so our formula has been compiled. Let's go back to our person management again. Person management. Let's search for the same person 1030 and action, payroll, element entries, and we'll add the HRA element. HRA. Continue. And we'll click on save. Okay, so you can see in the amount input, it has been automatically calculated as 100. So we took the pay value, which was, let me show you, which was 2000, and 5% of 2000 will be 100. Now let's go to our quick pay and try to run this uh, quick pay for this. So I'll click on show more and okay, so I'll click on quick pay payments and I'll search for the person which is 1030. Okay, so after that I'll simply uh, submit this. Let's wait for the payroll to run. Okay. So in the gross pay, let me expand it. Okay. So, okay. So here is our element which says PS basic salary earnings result. And you can see the value, which is 2000. And if we come to voluntary deduction and expand, you can see our PSHRA result and the deducted amount. So that's all for this video, and I'll come later with some other cases. Thank you.